What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com, and in today's video I have a Q&A for you. I'm going to be answering 4 questions, but the main one I'm going to be talking about how many times a day should you be eating? All right, like I said, today's video, I'm just gonna be answering 4 fitness questions. One of them is going to be about how many times a day you should be eating, but the other 3 are also super useful if you're trying to burn fat and build muscle, lose weight, whatever it is you're trying to do, super beneficial for you. So, before we get into it, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I'm doing Q&As all the time to answer your questions, so I'm making sure you're a happy subscriber. So make sure you're subscribing, commenting any questions that you have about your fitness journey down below, and I'll be sure to answer it. Also, if you want help getting in shape, this is a fitness channel. I have a free body type quiz that I've had put together where it tells you the 3 most important things that you need to do in order to get in shape, depending on what your goals are, whether you're in the weight loss category, the fat burning category, the skinny fat category, the clean bulk category. If you're a woman, there's still a fat loss, there's a get toned, there's a skinny one, there's categories for everybody, and it tells you what you need to do for your category depending on what you answer in the quiz. So go take that, watch the video at the end. I'll tell you what to do to get in shape. But first question today, what body type are you? And I picked this question because I get a lot of questions and I'll be doing Q&As in the future. But I picked this question because it's super beneficial for you, for everybody. Now, me, I am what you call an ectomorph. An ectomorph is a naturally skinny person, typically has a faster metabolism, can pretty much eat a lot of food, and you don't really run the risk of gaining weight like somebody who, say, has a naturally higher body fat percentage and a slower metabolism. So I personally am an ectomorph. That's why when I stop working out, like I've had 3 months off the gym now because of a back injury, and so I lose size. And I get a little softer, but I mainly lose muscle density. And so with that comes a very specific dieting protocol and a very specific training protocol. And so I just make sure that I'm training and dieting for a skinny person who's trying to put on muscle and has had a history of struggling to put on muscle. So I'm that guy who was super skinny in high school and always worked out, but didn't really know why I couldn't put on any muscle, and I got into fitness and I learned that I wasn't eating the right foods, I wasn't training the right way, and I fixed that, and now I'm able to pretty much do whatever I want with my body when I'm going consistently and when I'm not injured. But if you are struggling to get in shape and you're not sure what your body type is, there's 3 main body types. Ectomorphs, that skinny guy that I talked about. On the other end of the spectrum, it's endomorph. This is, like I said, the naturally heavier set person who's got a slower metabolism, feels like they gain weight no matter what they eat, has to watch out for carbs. You have a very specific training regimen and a very specific dieting regimen as well. You have to make sure that you are going with probably more cardio. You got to make sure that you are focusing on more high intensity exercises, maybe HIIT workouts, high intensity interval training where you're doing intervals of max intensity followed by periods of short rest. This is going to help you with burning calories. Also, be focusing on compound movements. Granted, everybody should focus on compound movements, but compound movements as an endomorph, you're going to be using as many muscles as possible, and you're going to be using that to burn as many calories as possible while you're weight training. So you'll be splitting your weight training with your cardio pretty evenly, whereas the ectomorph is going pretty much mostly weight training. And then in the middle, we have what is known as a mesomorph, and this is typically going to be someone who's in the middle, more of like an athlete, someone who can put on muscle, can put on size, maybe even can get fat if they eat too much, or someone who can also get skinny if they're not eating, or someone who can lose muscle or get ripped a little easier. This is probably the more ideal body type to be, but with that being said, not everybody is just one of these categories. You could find yourself falling in the meso-endo category. You could find yourself following the ecto-meso category. So you can have traits from multiple different categories, but just understanding what your history is of trying to get in shape and what your body responds best to, because everybody's different. There's no blueprint for everybody. And so understanding what's going to work best for you and what hasn't worked for you in the past. And depending on what your goals are, people always hate saying that body types aren't a thing. Okay, well tell me that this guy who's super underweight needs to put on a ton of muscle, and this guy who's super overweight and needs to lose a bunch of weight should follow the same routine, should follow the same training, should follow the same diet. They shouldn't. They never should ever. And if they do, that's just silly. So you need to find a specific training and a specific diet that matches your goals. It's not about a body type. It's about where you're starting from and what your goals are. And when you approach it the right way, you get faster results and it's a lot easier. So that's the first question. Second question is, do I have any options for, or what are some options for weight gain foods? I actually just made a video about this. I was at the store and I walked you through a couple of foods that are going to help you put on mass. I'm gonna put a card up to it at the top of this video. So if you wanna go learn about some foods that are good for putting on mass, this is gonna be pretty much high calories. I mean, foods that are high in calories, foods that are going to help with your workouts. It's gonna be a bunch of those. Go check out that video. Next question is, how many times a day should you eat? And this question is what the video is about. And so I might actually end on this question because this video is a little longer than I wanted it to be. But how many times a day should you eat? This is not going, there's not one number that I could say here where I go, oh, it's 3, oh, it's 5, oh, it's 7, oh, it's 1. This is going to be dependent on your goals, your lifestyle, and I mean, that's about it, honestly. Because if let's say you're doing intermittent fasting, you're not gonna be eating 5 meals a day. Period. Say you're not intermittent fasting, you're probably gonna be eating more than just 1 or 2 meals a day. Let's say you're bulking. You're gonna be eating a lot of food over the course of a day. If you're trying to bulk, like right now, I'm gonna start going into like a 3,000, 3,100 calorie diet, and you can't eat that if they're clean calories. You can't eat that in 2-3 meals. You just can't. So you have to break it up into more meals so that you can get all your calories in. Also, there's the thermic effect of food, which people always say that, oh, you don't have to eat out of Tupperware and eat 5 times a day. No, you don't, but that helps a lot of people because when you're eating just 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're gonna get so hungry in between those meals that if you eat breakfast and then at 8 a.m. and you're not eating lunch until 2 p.m., you're going to be so darn hungry by lunch that you are going to make a bad decision just because of how hungry you are. Same thing with dinner. If you eat lunch at 2 p.m. and you're not eating dinner till 7, 8 p.m., that's a long time in between there of no food where you're going to make a bad decision again at dinner. So what helps people sometimes is having smaller meals throughout the day so that they're eating more often and not ever really getting as hungry. Granted, yes, you're eating less calories when you have more meals, but you're still getting food in your body more often. Also, there's the thermic effect of food. When you eat food, every single time you eat food, no matter what you eat, there is a specific thermic effect of the nutrients that you're putting in your body. And so when you do eat 5 times a day, you're getting that effect 5 times a day. Granted, you'll still get it in more amounts with the 3 times a day, but I'm just saying this so that you guys are aware of it. But then at the same time, there's also people who don't like eating 5 times a day and they do like eating 3 times a day and they have no problem with it. If that's you, that's totally fine. Point of the matter is here that you find what works best for you. If you like eating 5 smaller meals a day because you don't get as hungry, then that's the best thing that you can do. Or if you're eating 5 meals a day because you're bulking and that's the only way you can get all your calories in, keep doing that. But if you don't like eating 5 meals a day, you can't stand preparing that many meals for one day of eating, then don't eat that many meals. I just don't want you to sacrifice your actual diet for thinking that you have to eat 5 meals a day or you have to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner and that's it. So there's not a specific number of times that you should eat a day. It's all gonna come down to what your preferences are, what your lifestyle is, what your goals are, and then testing different things and finding what works best for you and sticking with that. So I'm actually just gonna end this video here. I'll get into the next question, which is how many times a week do you need to work out, which is another one that I could ramble on for a while, but I'll be in the next video, so make sure you guys are subscribing so that you guys are here for the next video. I'm doing Q&As every Friday now. That'll go for a little while, and then I'll probably switch it up when I'm back in the gym finally, get you guys some workouts, ab workouts, and maybe get myself some bigger arms too. So I hope you guys liked the video. Other than that, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.